great though. Right, great participation. Let's keep that energy rolling this afternoon. Thought it would be really neat. Jack had reached out to Corey. Corey reached out to me recently about having a motivational speaker for our summits, which we've never done. And what better than have another industry colleague than our own Jack Wilson here with Amplify. Excited to hear Jack's story. I've heard it. I'm excited for you to hear it. So, Jack, take it away, sir.
Thank you so much. When Tom asked me to speak, he said, "Hey, do you want to kick this thing off, or do you want to go after lunch?" I said, "I will go after lunch." Then he said, out of curiosity, why did you choose that? I said, "Well, that's the shittiest spot to speak." And once you guys know me for the next 20 minutes, you'll understand a little bit more. Thank you, Outsource Consultants, for putting on another amazing event. I was in Nashville, and they keep raising the bar. So if the food gets any better or the hotel gets any better, we're going to be at the Ritz-Carlton next time. So, but thank you. Malcolm Caldwell said in his book that if you do anything for 10,000 hours, you become a master at that thing. I can proudly say that I'm a master at ultra running, actually running in general, and go-to-market activity, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. I've experienced 6 exits and an IPO in my career, and I'm not done yet. So, to get this kicked off though, just raise of hands, how many people here are runners? Any runner, 5K, 10K, more than half the room. How many people look for that mythical 10,000 steps a day? Because that's also me. In certain days, it's a challenge to get that, so I fully understand. So I'm going to kick this off. This is my latest race, big race. I run all the time. This was the Moab 240 last year. It's a 7-minute video. It took me 93 hours to run this damn race. So you get a feeling of what it's like in 8 minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll have a little chat. Moab is just so special and magical, and you really can't get the feel for what this is unless you're out there running.
I'm feeling good, feeling excited. Obviously very uncertain about how the next few days are going to go, but I'm excited for the challenge and ready just to figure out what's around the bend and figure it out as we go.
I feel a little anxious, but the beauty of these things is people like us like to take that anxious energy and turn it into something cool and make something happen and have a real experience out of it. So I'm excited, and we'll see what happens.
Something like this just completely shatters every preconceived idea that you ever had about who you are and what you're capable of. It's living a lifetime in 4 days, 5 days, however long I'm out there. It's getting all of that, jammed into one big 240-mile circle.
So it's really quite an adventure of the physical variety and the spiritual and the mental. Runners will experience a little bit of everything that many days on course. We like to say it's more of an adventure run than anything else.
Thou shalt drink plenty of water. Thou shalt rest before DNFing. Thou shalt battle through tough times. Thou shalt finish your endurance run. And thou shalt pick up your belt buckle.
If I get lost, hurt, or die, it's my own damn fault. It's my own damn fault. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So the difference with Moab right away is the additional 40 miles that the other 200s do not have. The other races tend to be more of a mountainous, forested area, where Moab explores a lot of desert environment. You do go through 2 separate mountain ranges that'll bring you up into nice forests and aspen trees and fall colors this time of year.
This course is so gorgeous so far.
Moab, right? I mean, the scenery is what I draw inspiration from. The human community that comes together for these things was just incredibly special.
I just really love to run, and I'm thankful every day that I get to run. I don't have to run, I get to run, I get to do these things. I may not be the fastest runner out there, but that's another great thing about these long races. You don't have to be the fastest runner. It's more about the journey and the experience, and I'm excited to see what's out there.
You know, the why for me is to push your mind, your body, and your spirit to levels that you just didn't know existed inside of yourself. This race will definitely test the endurance of the human capacity, and it's the body, mind, and spirit.
The Moab 240 was started when a friend of mine, Stephen Jones, had this idea to make a 200-mile race in Utah. He said, Moab is the most amazing place, you've got to take a look at least. I was like, I don't have time for that. And then it wasn't long after that he died in an avalanche. And it was a huge tragedy for the ultra running community. When that happened, I immediately looked back at the route he had sent me. I came out here to Moab, first time ever, was blown away by the terrain. And so I immediately knew, once I experienced the place, that he was right. I had to do a 200-miler here. And it ended up being 240 instead of 200. So we just thought the route is what it is. It's gonna be a little longer, and that will make it more of an adventure.
Most people that have looked at the course is that mile 80 to 120 that's kind of the breaker of the spirit.
Yeah, that last leg was brutal. I think a couple miles into that, I just lost all touch of reality. It seemed like I'd been running that thing for 30 years.
It was a tough night. It just seemed like trails went on forever and ever in the dark.
I felt like we were in like another world. I felt like you were in like the Twilight Zone.
Slept for 15 minutes and stopped hallucinating.
We can now add 2 plus 2. With an event like this, everyone goes through some real hard moments. You don't know what they're going to be in advance, but everyone's going to go through some struggle. You never know who's going to be that person who provides support for you to help get you through, or when you're going to be called upon to help somebody else get them through that moment. It's really that type of community that develops through shared struggle and aspiration.
This has been an awesome experience. I'll tell you, get the highs and lows, and the people I've met, the people that helped me, come from my town to help me, the people from other towns, and just the people here. It gives me a whole perspective of people and life.
Sorry, I was grumpy when you first saw me. I'm better now.
Downhill from here. 38 miles, that's all we have left.
The reason why you need to find limitations is because in this default world, you're being limited by the system, and you run that hamster wheel every day. You don't know what your limits are, and you don't know what the full life is. To know and experience the full life, you have to come out of your hamster wheel and understand if there is a limitation, you'll know. If there is no limitation, then you keep moving.
I would say if you're scared of something, or you're trying to look for something hard to do, literally do that one thing that's right in front of you, that's that big, hairy, audacious goal that scares the hell out of you. Do that thing. Start there, and you're going to gain some confidence, you're going to gain some momentum, and then everything's going to open up for you.
a lot of work to organize. It requires that whole community to come together.
I see the same faces, whether volunteering or running, and we all know each other and hang out and laugh.
The races that Candace puts together are by far the Super Bowl of ultra running, and to be out here in this environment is just unbelievable.
It was hard in the moment, but it's not hard now looking back. And now it's just opened up to new possibilities. The sky's the limit, so do the thing in front of you is scary. And I promise you, you're gonna have great results. If you're gonna fail, you're gonna learn through that process. If you can't do it, you're still gonna learn through that process. And that's gonna make you a better person.
So that's even hard for me to watch because it's such a recent memory in my life. But what you don't see there is that that was my second attempt at this crazy race. So the year before I signed up, I'm an expert at running, right? Malcolm Caldwell told me I was. I'm a master. I showed up the year before in arguably the best shape of my life. I was actually looking to maybe place in that race. That was the year that David Goggins, if anybody's a Goggins fan,
yeah.
I ran with David. He came in third. I did not. They took me off the course at mile 40, completely out of my mind. I had run out of water. So I go immediately they put me in an ambulance to the emergency room in Moab, and I spent 4.5 hours, and I was a mess. I mean, I was a wreck. So as soon as I got out of the hospital, I told my crew, I said, take me to the finish line. I said, why do you want to do that? I said, I've got to see this with my own eyes because it was something so unachievable. I couldn't believe it. The first person I saw finish the race was a lady in her late 50s, early 60s, biggest smile on her face, didn't look like me. And I thought, what does she have that I don't have? Then the second person I saw, no lie, was a guy about the size of Tom Luther. No joke. The people that do best in these long races are older and a bigger boned person. Because you think about it, a guy my size, I've got to put enough calories in my body to sustain 240 miles. And I've always struggled with it. So that's up to Moab. But how did I get here? What's the backstory of this? So actually, before I get there, the backstory. I was born in 1968, Baptist Hospital, Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised. 3 pounds, 8 ounces, both lungs collapsed, spent my first 3 months in an incubator. So you can imagine, not the way that I wanted to start my race, but those were the cards that were given to me. My parents were told that I would have a normal childhood, but I would not have normal lung capacity. So sports was out of the question for me. So that was my life. That's the way I lived. At 8 years old, my mother put me into an after-school program at the local YMCA, more of a babysitting thing. A couple of weeks there, I'm on the bleachers watching the kids run, and one of the coaches said, hey, can anyone here run 4 times around this track? I said, I can. He said, the wimpy kid, you can? I said, yes, sir, I can. So I took off running, my very first mile ever, 7 minutes and 46 seconds in a pair of high-top Chuck Taylors. So now I'm off to the races. I am a runner, and it hooked me. If you ever watch Forrest Gump, that was me. I was running everywhere across town. People would actually come to my parents' house and say, hey, we saw your son in town. You know that's not good. He's going to stunt his growth. And my mother would say, if you only knew his story, let him go. That's his thing. So I ran my first marathon at the age of 16. Charlotte Observer Marathon was my first marathon. I held every collegiate high school record from the mile, 2 mile, and cross country for almost 20 years. Had an athletic scholarship at Memphis State University. Both my grandparents were alive, not the best school for my sport. I just wanted to be around my grandparents. So then I got invited to the 1988 Boston Marathon. And you gotta think, for a kid like me, that's like, it can't get any better. I'm with the elite runners, people that I looked at in Runner's World magazine. I'm sitting next to them the night before the big race. 116 pounds, by the way, at the time. And I'm sitting next to the guy that eventually wins the Boston Marathon, Yuma Ikonga. And I felt like a very big person next to you at 116 pounds. And he says to me in very broken English, the will to win means nothing without the will to prepare. In one ear, out the other. I didn't really take it at that time. So I went on and I did the Boston Marathon, 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 50 seconds. For you runners, you know every second counts. And I got an article in Runner's World magazine, the future of distance running. Me. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Went back to university, didn't have an extraordinary college career, and then Nike approached me about coming to run with Nike. So I did what anybody would do. I dropped out of school very quickly, and I went and chased my dream, running with Nike. So now I'm traveling the world as an elite runner, running for Nike. I'm 21 years old, by the way. And what I immediately realized is the passion that I have always had for running wasn't the same. It was different. You know, I was running to put food on the table. I was running to make money. My first year running, I made $28,000, which to me was a lot of money. Couldn't believe it. But I also realized I had to become honest with myself that no matter what I did, no matter how hard I trained, no matter what my heart said, I was always going to be that first group of elite runners behind the Ethiopians. You know, you think now there's so much technology in place, and maybe 30 years ago it would have been different, but I was smart enough to know that I'm going to waste time and peter out here. I need to go forward. So I thought, well, what can I do? Because this is my identity. Even at 58 years old, I run every day. We're running in the morning. Allie and I, we did a little run this morning. Anybody wants to go, meet us in the lobby at 6 in the morning, and we'll go for a little run together. So I said, I'm going to get into sales because I need to make money. Thought, how hard can sales be? I had a very bad stutter, and I was extremely shy. So I know, not the recipes for success. So I remember what Yuma Ikonga said, though. The will to win means nothing without the will to prepare. And you think about it, each and every one of us in this room, we all want to be winners. Everybody wants to be a winner. The bum on the street that we passed this morning, I guarantee you, that's not where he thought he would be at that stage in his life. Everybody wants to win, but I think what separates people that really achieve their goals is you gotta put in the effort, you gotta put in the time. There are no shortcuts. Believe me, I've tried it all. And what I love about what I do, my passion, is there are no shortcuts when you go run 240 miles. You've gotta put in the time to do it. And that race, you know, really, it took me through it. So, we talk a lot about winning, right? And what is success? Does anyone know the definition of success? I didn't know. So I looked it up. I said, you know, what is success? Very interesting. It's a noun, the accomplishment or an aim or purpose. There's a thin line between success and failure. So then I said, what's the definition of failure? It's true. You're either successful or you're not. There really isn't a gray area. And I also, me personally, I look at every single day, 24-hour period, I call my life a race. Every day, because you think about it, a race starts and it ends. So every single day I wake up and I'm very excited. I was excited to go for a run this morning with the group. And that's the way my day starts. And I know that the end of the race will probably be 10 o'clock tonight, because that's what time I typically peter out. But every single day, I try to make myself 1% better. Just 1%. Surely to God, everyone in this room can say 1%. And you think about it, at the end of the year, I'm 365% better than I was when I started the year. Every single day, just one little step. So, success isn't a straight line either. It's a series of failures that become stepping stones. Anyone that says, you know, hey, I've been successful, I've been through 6 exits and an IPO, sounds very impressive. Filed bankruptcy twice. Bankruptcy twice. Have lost my job countless times for not performing, for not putting up the numbers. I've learned far more from my failure than I ever have. Now the success is nice and it feels really good, but guess what, guys? I'm in the same room. I'm in the same boat that you're all in. And we're looking for success, but success isn't the final stepping stones. You know, my first company, the first company that I exited, I was a sales rep. I was making $85,000 base salary, which was a lot of money back then. I W-2'd $1.2 million commission. Number 1 sales guy in the world. I'm 25. I thought, shit, man, I'm successful. I've made it. Guess what? I had to go through 6 more of those things to really realize that success isn't about the thing. It's about continuing to do it. The second one would be interesting to you. I actually co-founded a company in Atlanta, Georgia called Proficient Systems. We had this great idea that chat was going to revolutionize the entire world. Had nothing to do with BPO, but chat was the thing. If you guys remember that when chat came out, it probably affected a lot of you in the BPO space. We grew that company from 0, absolutely 0, just a mindset, to $8 million in revenue. Could not get funding, went everywhere to get funding. People said, hey, listen, no one's ever going to chat online. This was all VCs. Everyone said, that's the stupidest idea ever. The telephone's here to stay. So I did what anybody would do. I second mortgaged my house, borrowed money from friends and family. We ran that company up to $8 million and we sold it to LivePerson for $31 million. LivePerson was at the event in Nashville that I was in, 6 months ago? Sitting right next to me. And I'm like, holy shit, man, it does come full circle, you know? Now they're a big public company doing very well, and I can still, when I get pop chat online, I can still see some of the original code that we put in there. You know how good that makes me feel? That was over 20 years ago, and these guys are still operating some of their technology off of our technology. And then the last one here, I had moved to Europe. I was a senior executive with the company in the marketing space, online chat again, and we sold that company to Oracle for $1 billion. We ran it up to $100 million, and we sold it for $1 billion to Oracle. Then I sold chat into a contact center when I was living in Europe, a company in Budapest, Hungary, Photo. Just one of my sales guys said, hey boss, I think I got a deal selling this in Hungary. I said, I've never been to Hungary, let me go. So I met the CEO there, liked the guy, and then he said, hey, I need an American on my board. Would you participate? I said, yeah, man, I'd love to. I've never been on a board before. That sounds cool. So I'm on his board, and he says, hey, we're going to sell the company about a year in. So we sold his BPO to Teleperformance. Teleperformance had it for a little over a year, had no idea what to do with it. So we bought it back for half of what we sold it to. That's smart business, smart business. Then we put lipstick on that pig for about 2 years, and then we sold it to SSG about 5 years ago. So every time I see SSG at a conference and they've got, you know, all their locations, Budapest, Hungary, that gives me great pride to know that I had a piece of that business. But you see in the journey here, it's not a straight line. I mean, that's impressive, but it's not the final standpoint. So what am I doing today? I'm a executive vice president of sales. I'm a sales guy, business development here in the States. So the same thing that you guys go through day in and day out. Where's the business coming from? How are we gonna get business? I get it, I understand. I get kicked in the nuts daily, just like all of you do. It's tough, it's a challenge, but my mindset is here. I look forward to waking up every day, and I do a couple of things that I would just say, hey, maybe it works for you. I reach out to 5 new people every single day. It's my mission. People that I don't know, I just don't do a random, in-mail, because that does not work. I do my research and I say, who are the people today that might be interested in my message and what we're doing? And I give it thought, and I do an in-mail, and it's surprising when you're authentic with your communication, what you get back in response. So I try to grow my network by 25 people every single week. And that's easy, that's table stakes. Anyone here can do that. I do deliver keynotes. I typically, this thing goes for an hour, and I work with sales teams on go-to-market activities. If there's anything here that is inspirational to you or your teams, for this group, I would be more than happy to continue this message, because I hope it's empowering. I hope that you feel better about being athletic, getting in those 10,000 steps. And it doesn't have to be in the crazy shit that I do, because it is crazy. I mean, I admit it, it's a disease and I love it, but it's my passion also, and it's my wellness, my mental wellness on a daily basis. I'm gonna leave you with 2 quotes. The goal is to be rich. Rich in health, rich in peace, and rich in love. The money is just the bonus. And the last one, running is the most honest sport. You can't fake endurance, you can't buy grit. Every mile shows the truth of your preparation and your mindset consistency. Thank you for your time. One more thing. I wrote a book, not a very good book. First effort, but I'm writing my second book, The Ultra Endurance Mindset. So when that comes out, please let me know. Everyone here will get a free book. If you're interested in the shitty book, questions, or are we out of time? Right?
Well, I think we're always pressed for time, but unbelievable story, Jack. I'm fired up. I'm sure that just looking out at the audience, I know they're fired up about your story. So thank you for sharing.